أنصار
آمين.
ربنا إننا سمعنا مناديا ينادي للإيمان أن آمنوا بربكم فآمنا ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار
آمين.
ربنا وآتنا ما وعدتنا على رسلك ولا تخزنا يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد
آمين.
ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار
آمين.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر كبيرا والحمد لله كثيرا وسبحان الله بكرة وأصيلا لا إله إلا الله وحده أنجز وعدا ونصر عبدا وعز جندا وهزم الأحزاب وحدا لا إله إلا الله ولا نعبد إلا إياه مخلصين له الدين ولو كره الكافرون اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم
وعلى آل سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم
وعلى أصحاب سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم
وعلى أنصار سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم
وعلى
حي يا قيوم على لا إله وكلوا يا حي يا قيوم على لا ọba tí kò pé méjì yá ayò yá qayyum kò pé méjì kò pé mẹ́ta.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Viewers at home, once again we welcome you to a series of a Ramadan program, Ramadan Kareem. Today is going to be a very interesting episode as we want to zero into financial management in religious organization. Finance, to those who study it and those who study organization, believe that organization has life. And for everything that has life, there's a financial dimension. However, there are perceptual requirements to which religious organizations tend to man their finances. Trust. People must be trustworthy. If this is agreed to, more often than not, it is realized that trust or lack of it does not deliver the objectives of financial management. And this brings a lot of issues. Abuse of funds, sometimes frauds, and treating issues of fraud as internal affairs. A lot of issues, a lot of challenges for religious organizations to drive financial performance through ideal or sustainable financial management. So how do we navigate the mess of financial management caused by lack of trust and other things? Those are the questions. and less answers. And that is why we're calling the experts to join us to dissect, discuss, and possibly provide solutions to these issues that are germane to sustainable organization. With me today are people I can call entrepreneur, people with vast experience, both in finances and pro bono volunteerism in managing religious organizations, especially Islamic ones. So I have with me on this program today our learned fellow in finance from the extreme right, Alhaji Ola Oshebikon Tajuddin Kolawole. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alhaji Kolawole has been a banker, has been an entrepreneur, and has been a volunteer leading Islamic organizations. And next to him is Alhaji Ajibade Adirogba Salahuddin, a fellow of Chartered Accountants. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
As you can see, he's a chartered accountant and also a leader in Muslim organizations. And most of the time, I'm sure Islamic organizations have put, they try to learn and take advantage of his professional advices. Now, we'll go to the topic. Let me start with Alhaji Ola Oshebikon. What is the purpose of non-profit religious organizations like Islamic ones? We do have organizations, we establish them. Just to remind ourselves, are there purposes through which or why we establish Islamic religious organizations?
Thank you very much, the moderator and the viewers at home. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And I also wish everybody Ramadan Mubarak. To go straight to the question by the moderator, a non-profit organization has three main features. And the number one, which we must very well understand, is that what is their basic aim? The basic aim is purely to render service, especially charity services. Also, what is the main funding accruable to them? Members' contributions, donations, and grants.
Let me interject because I'm still we're going to come back to that.
Okay.
But back to Alhaji Adirogba. Alhaji Oshebikon has told us service. Service. And again, if you want to emphasize service, is the main purpose why we have Islamic organization. Now, how do they achieve this? How do religious organizations achieve the purpose of servicing the people or the community?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh once again. Religious organization achieve aim of service by bringing people together. If they bring them together, they are a congregation. In that essence, there will be spiritual upliftment, there will be leadership and leadership development. In spiritual obligation, every individual in the organization come with their issues they have that need prayer. They pray for them to solve their problem. After doing that, they tend to develop each of them in respect of spiritual and also in giving them job. That is entrepreneurship. They develop them physically to ensure that each and every member are adequately engaged so that they will be able to fend for themselves.
I think that's a very good, you talk about engagement in terms of economy, engagement in terms of social development, you've talked about engagement in terms of spiritual development as well as citizenship. Having said that, when they want to do this, I'm sure they don't spend stones. They need money. are there glaring financial performance among religious organizations? And what do we mean? After the purpose is served, after defining the ways to achieve those purposes, then money, you said they raise money.
Of course.
Are there indices to show, or what we need to see, that a particular religious organization is having a good financial performance? What are the things that we need to see before we can say, oh, this religious organization, it looks like they're financially okay?
Once again, thank you very much. If I quickly delve into that, let us first of all understand where is their funding coming from.
Absolutely.
The funding for a non-profit or religious organizations comes, one, by membership contributions, by way of what each member will fully want to contribute for the smooth running of that organizations. They also have donations from their, what I could term in modern day now as their customers. Because in the past that you have somebody who's going to be a big money buyer that's going to give money, who care less about what is happening. But these days you see that everybody that is coming wants to see that the growth of an organization that he or she wants to belong to. So I would say that that's the major way of their funding comes in. For them to have that kind of funding regularly and sustainably, they need to show a prudent management of that kind of funds. And it's showing, because that is what is going to make any who be donor in future to also want to be part of it, because they want to see the last donation I gave, how has it been well utilized. So you want people to, have a holistic platform where everybody can see that what you plan to do.
When you say donations, essentially the source or sources of the fund is through membership donations.
Through membership, not firstly membership contributions.
Membership contributions.
Donation may not necessarily come from their members. It could be non-members who just see the good things that are doing, how impactful they are there in service delivery.
So in global climes, when religious organizations are committed to community service, they tend to get grants from the government of such countries. So here in Nigeria, do governments at all, are they also source of those funding in one way or the other?
What I can say is that even some of these things that has to do with government, some of them have not been coming in the real naira and kobo, but some of them are coming in kind.
Okay.
Something that they ought to have spent money on, which somebody has relieved them of. At least we make them to have some respite on the little they have. So they must have an impactful, that is everybody can say, everybody can feel in their service delivery, in charitable, like my colleague rightly said, they want to talk about their religious emancipation, their religious upbringing. They must be able to see that, oh, once I go to this society, I think I'm home and dry. My problem is almost half solved.
Now, touching base with indices, what do we see to have a feel that a religious organization has sound financial performance?
Yeah. Financial performance can be measured in terms of physical thing you are able to see. And it can be measured in terms of their financial ratios, if they are organizations that produce an account. In terms of physical things, if you want to measure now, take, for example, National Life Society of Nigeria, NASFAT. They have aggregated their resources to operate a university. So that's a performance without any aid from anywhere. So that is a physical thing. And if you go to the branches and you see structures of NASFAT in locations, that's a performance you can measure. But in terms of producing accounts, if they produce the account, you measure their return on investment, liquidity, their ability to pay their debt as and when due. That is the measurement criteria in terms of ratio. So by that, you are able to measure that they are able to perform or not.
So professionally, you talk about those accounting and financial ratios or indices. You talk about physical growth, physical structures. You talk about branch expansion and reach. So that those are indices that you know that, okay, any organization that has sound financial performance, you tend to see this. Yeah. Okay, before we go on break, I think we need to hit this. The financial management theorists or scholars, they tend to believe that when you have financial management, you have internal control, and you have fundraising activity, that will lead to financial performance. Yes. And in so doing, that will also dovetail into quality and sustainable output. You just talk about university for NASFAT now. That is a quality and sustainable output. A university is not something that is a product that you establish today, and unless something goes wrong, it won't die tomorrow. Yeah, it's absolutely sustainable. Yeah. So for such quality, can you please elaborate on this kind of theory that, if you have financial management, if you have financial control, if you can do your fundraising activity, of course, establishing a university through donation is not a joke. I don't know the magic that NASFAT was able to use. So in reality, can you elaborate on that? How does it connect?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Generally, financial management is a means, an act of controlling, analyzing, planning of financial resources of an organization and of a society, as the case may be. In this case, NASFAT is able to plan because they have a foreseeable future that they want to establish a university. They plan with their resources by savings an amount of money to ensure that they have it. So if you collect money, you collect donations, you are going to establish a sound internal control into it to ensure that there's no fraudulence that will deplete the money. And you also need to ensure that you don't use a short-term fund for a long-term investment.
That's really on point.
Yes.
So essentially, from what you concluded, you must have a system, you must have control, then you will have a quality output like the project we've seen. That's why we have viewers at home. Before we continue, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we zero into issues of trust and other challenges. Please don't go away.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful.
إني لكم رسول أمين.
Indeed, I am to you a trustworthy messenger.
فاتقوا الله وأطيعون.
So fear Allah and obey me.
وما أسألكم عليه من أجر إن أجري إلا على رب العالمين.
And I do not ask you for it any payment. My payment is only from the Lord of the worlds.
أوفوا الكيل ولا تكونوا من المخسرين.
Give full measure and do not be of those who cause loss.
وزنوا بالقسطاس المستقيم.
And weigh with an even balance.
ولا تبخسوا الناس أشياءهم ولا تعثوا في الأرض مفسدين.
And do not deprive people of their due, and do not commit abuse on earth, spreading corruption.
واتقوا الذي خلقكم والجبلة الأولين.
And fear he who created you and the former creation.
Viewers at home, Thanks for joining us on the concluding part of this episode. We've been talking about trust, financial management in religious organization issues and challenges. Alaji Ola Oshebekon, when you are fortunate enough in few times to lay your hands on financial reports of religious organization, you hardly find a place for investment. So as we grow up, I tend to wonder, is it unlawful for religious organizations to invest? Yes or no? If yes, why are we not seeing investment? And what are the options that we have?
Thank you very, very much, moderator. You said I've been fortunate to lay my hands on some few financial affairs of organizations. It's unfortunate that most faith-based organizations don't even have financial reports.
Yeah.
Some of the things that's going to be a selling point for them is even lacking. Because this is what anybody who wants to be an investor will look at. Don't know, will look at. And then want to say, I must partner with this. So that's on that. On your question that whether we are not.
Is it lawful? Is it
it's
unlawful?
Very, very lawful. As long as the large investment for any faith-based organization is allowed, it's quite well. Yeah. There are so many are banned. There is no law that says we should not invest in any fund. For example, you are generating fund that you want to buy a generator, and for reasons that you have started fund and you are not yet to buy that generator, why are you keeping the money? The money is idle if you don't invest it in a particular halal investment. And there are so many halal investments about. The Soku is there. There's Lotus that I know that they give a good return on investment. So there's nothing that is saying we should not do this investment. Only that some of us, we always want to run this our society as if the society of yesterdays. That once we have this money, where is your money? It's in the bank. Bank is using it. It's not generating any income for you. Too bad. We can do investment as long as investment is allowed investment.
So, like you said, can you elaborate on investment opportunity nowadays? If it was not there before, apparently with Islamic finance evolving now, what options, what are the opportunities we have for us to invest?
Yes, there are investment opportunities. They are abound everywhere. Like if you have enough fund and the fund is already in your account, you can invest in anything that is lawful in as much as your organization's rules and regulation permits it. So, but what I would just want to add to what Alaji Olasobi said is, that is my work. I'm an auditor. A lot of financial statements pass through me. You don't see investment in many financial reports. You don't see them in their report because these organizations, they have a continuous project they are doing. So money is not naturally kept in their account. They use the money to develop the project they are doing. So they don't have enough money to do those investments other than the capital project of building and the rest. Take for example, this our own society, NASFAT. Hardly can you go to any branch now without any building project going on. So each of these funds they accrue, they have an intended purpose for it already. So it is difficult for them to say they are going to invest in sukuk or in this thing that will bring money. Though it is very necessary, it's because it's part of financial planning. Because if you plan your finance very well, you should be able to reap income, additional income, which is halal, not the one that will be getting interest that is not allowed by your organization.
You actually, it's a very important point. Financial planning, financial literacy, garbage in, garbage out. The type of financial literacy or planning of an organization is a reflection of a membership.
Sure.
And that takes us to solution. We need to keep on finding solutions to this. And growing up in Yoruba land, Ibadan as a case study, Okeogun, most part of Yoruba land, people have argued that we have some solutions, basic one like RATB model that drives transparency. You go to a local mosque as a guest or stranger, the moment you face the Qibla in the mosque, you are likely to see a blackboard. Baba Imam, January, February, 100 Naira. Alaji Seriki Adini, 500 naira, money in hand, this amount, feasibility like today, money in bank, total. So even at the local mosques in those days, and even now in some places in Yoruba land, you can say this mosque, as a religious organization, you can know the financial status. They don't need paper, they don't need, it's there. So, but when you now move into religious organizations, as basic as RATB model, members don't even have any feedback about the state of finance of those. What is missing? Our RATB Babas, are they better than us in basic financial reporting?
Thank you.
Both of you, I mean,
Yes.
you have to take this question
let me, what you just elaborated, the importance of it cannot be overemphasized, in the sense that the importance of that thing does a lot of things to the member of the society itself. Take, for example, you go for your service every week. If you get to the service, at the end of the service, you've collected money severally at each interval from members. The following week, you still go there, you collect money. No feedback. What is advisable for people in the leadership or the executive is that in each week, you collect money. If you are not able to report what you collect in that week, you must not fail to report it the following week. That as at the end of last Friday or last Sunday, we got so much from member as feasibility. We got this member as, we got so much for mosque development. We got so much for our orphanage. Put it like that, let every member hear and do it, paste it on the notice board, let them hear it. So at the end of the week, give them the cumulative. Let them have a sense of belonging, that whatever they are contributing, they are having the effect of it. So the effect of it cannot be emphasized. So it is advisable, we advise our leaders in all religious organizations to be very, very transparent in managing their fund, so that this will encourage members to do more.
My own point about that is that honestly, I don't, like Riley said, the RATB model of a thing. The only problem we have now, which I want to join every leaders in organization, is to leverage on technology. Okay. Because the days of Ababa is a blessed day. I'm sorry to use the word.
Sure, it is.
It was a blessed
They had their
day.
own technology.
They had their own technology. But today, if you see anybody, once they know you are the treasurer of the society, you are this, at every end of every program, you see members coming to you, asking for money. But if you leverage on technology, POS is there, USSD is there, and I'm telling you, over 40% of members that attend your programs have ATM cards. So if you leverage on these, and then you run away from too much cash, haven't realized that money, you are able to, like my colleague said, you are able to say at every interactions we have here with the members, this is how much we have collected. This is how much we have spent out of it. This is much is remaining. Everybody will have been able to see what is remaining. It cannot accommodate a particular program or a particular development they want to undertake. So they will be more motivated in bringing in money there. What is the most important thing? We must incorporate that RATB model by leveraging on technology and be more transparent and be more accountable.
Thank you very much. I think that's the learning point for us, that we can actually have technology to that model and it's going to work. As we zero into last phase of solution, as financial gurus, what are the basic, let's say top 3 basic accounting or financial practices that you would like to see in every religious organizations? Alajola should take that shot.
Fund internal control.
Yeah.
Accountability and transparency. Once you have those 3, honestly, you are there.
Okay. I also want us to expatiate more on this technology thing. You have USSD, Alaji mentioned, you have ATM,
POS.
You have POS, is everywhere. And technology can do a lot in digital transformation. membership management itself, if you have, so how can you manage adoption of that transformation and change management with your members? Because technology on one hand, members also resist. How do you manage technology and change management?
You see,
just in a jiffy.
that thing hinge only on one thing, and that is the internal control. And let me tell you what internal control means. Internal control is the whole system of control established by the management to govern the affairs of an organization in a fair and equitable manner. So, internal control has been laid down. The thing is that if you collect money, you must ensure that you issue receipt for that person. If you issue receipt, you must ensure that this money goes to the bank. And for any expenses you are going to, it must pass through the process. Every voucher must be signed, voucher must be raised, signed and approved by the person before cash is disbursed.
Our time is fast spent, but I will say one word, passing short. Alajola Shebikon, what are the financial reports that you like those organizations to really have, to show that they have?
There are three basic financial reports that is very germane to a faith-based organization. The first one is receipts and payment, income and expenditure, and balance sheet. And these are reports that are supposed to be generated on a regular basis. Because if you don't do it on a regular basis, you may miss some things out of it. Once we have it, we have.
Parting shots, Alhaji Soliuddin. And I want to take it. We were unable to touch very well the issues of law enforcement and compliance. Is there anything you expect the religious organization and government to do more in areas of compliance and enforcement?
Yeah, the law is there. It's only the enforcement that is lacking. The law requires them to submit their annual returns. And what is this in this annual return? The annual returns of any faith-based organization is just their income and expenditure account. Since they are not profit making, that just income, how you get the money you collected and how you spend it. Then receipt and payment, then your balance sheet. Your balance sheet tells you the state of affairs as at the end of that financial period. It's expected to be submitted. And if you have it, it's a credit to you as an organization that you are well managed. You can show it, and it's a plus.
Thank you very much for joining us to do justice to this. Viewers at home, for two series, we've been talking about trust, financial management in religious organization issues and challenges. And the experts have actually x-rayed the issues, examined them, and profiling solutions. And there's that important question for all of us. Are you preparing for the day of judgment as Islamic organization leaders? Otherwise, we're going to be in soup if we don't have sound financial management of our societies. Until next time, when I will be joined by other set of panelists on another interesting topic. On behalf of NASFAT Oyo Zone, we'll say Ramadan Kareem and bye for now.
Tabalọ níwájú olúwàjára lánà tábà tó ń bọ̀ lẹ́yìn dákúnjára láránṣẹ́ lórí iṣẹ́ wa olúwàjára lánà lórí àwọn ọmọ olúwàjára láránṣẹ́ kódà lójú oorun ọlọ́run jára lánà ó ti kù mẹ́ta ó ti kù méjì. Ẹyọ kan tó kúrè o. Allahu Latifu, la ilaha illallah, Allahu Latifu, la ilaha illallah.